From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Ijoma Oyato.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, father of one of the women abused for allegedly stealing pepper in Ijibu confirms his daughter's death after the horrendous incident in Lagos. Kwara Deputy Governor's aide killed while trying to arrest a motorcyclist for obstructing governor's convoy. President Goodluck Jonathan scores self-high, says his government is the best in Nigeria's history. And doctors confirm former Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon's health has deteriorated further.
And on business news tonight, the Central Bank of Nigeria dismisses rumor about plans to force the governor into resignation.
And tonight on sports news, Confederation of African Football announces Nigeria's senior and cadet national teams as Africa's best performers for the year 2013.
And Gloria Omezike from Abuja, Senate President David Mark says PDP is still intact, gives assurance that the ruling party will not disintegrate.
It's a new year, and in what seems to be a self-appraisal, the President, Goodluck Jonathan, said he's done better than any other administration in the history of Nigeria. Now, this assessment is coming after harsh criticism from the opposition on his performance. He told leaders of the People's Democratic Party from the northeastern zone at the presidential villa that his policies are not anti-North. Our State House correspondent Chukwuma Onekusi reports.
Delegates from the Northwest Zone, made up of political gladiators from Kano, Sokoto, Katsina, Zamfara, Kebbi, Jigawa and Kaduna states. They thronged the State House to felicitate with the President and the Vice President in the new year, as well as identify with the success the administration has recorded so far. It turns out to be an appraisal of a few of the sectors in the administration. One by one, the President called on the Minister of State for Works, that of Education, Mines, Agriculture and Power to give a bit of their scorecard. They took time out to reel out what they have done for the people of the Northwestern Zone in line with the transformation agenda of the Goodluck Jonathan administration. Achievements the President challenged his critics to take note of.
This government is only 2 years, 8 months old. 2 years, 8 months old. Just 2 years, 8 months. By May this year, will be 3 years. By May 2015, will be 4 years. And I've challenged some of those who criticize without thinking. They should compare what we have done in the 2 years, 8 months with that of any other administration.
The standing ovation was deafening. But he's not done yet. He also has a word for those who say he is anti-North.
And some people say, oh, Jonathan is anti-North. He does not want to develop the North. I used to tell some people, because sometimes they sell these ideas to outsiders, especially some people who come from the United States of America. You know, Nigerians believe that the West must say something for it to be listened by us. If I'm to establish 12 universities, or if I'm to establish new universities, I can say, okay, there's no money, let us establish 3 in the north and 3 in the south. Nobody will castigate me. If I am against it, would I have done that? I wouldn't have. The issue of Al-Majiri education. If I am against, will I have encouraged that?
A former chairman of the People's Democratic Party and leader of the delegation, Dr. Alero Mohammed, reeled out the efforts of the administration so far, promising to support the administration at all times.
Let me assure Mr. President that the Vice President is very much on the ground and is holding forth for you in our zone and the North in general. And PDP is intact in the Northwest zone, despite all other informations you may be getting.
The president called on them to see the amalgamation which brought Nigerians together as a source of unity, promising to use the national dialogue to cement the bond. Chukwuma Onwekusi, Channels Television News.
Now, ahead of the forthcoming National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party, the Senate President has given the assurance that the leaders of the party will unite to save the PDP from its current crisis. The Senate President, David Mark, told journalists in Abuja that the development in the party is a challenging one, but not enough to tear the big umbrella apart. He, however, explained that the leaders would arrest the situation and save the party from further disintegration by making genuine efforts to reconcile partymen and women.
Let me also use the opportunity to thank you and through you to your government for the assistance that we're getting so far in some of the crucial areas like security. And we would like to ask that you continue to assist us because terrorism is a global issue, and if there is terrorism in Nigeria, it can go anywhere. Just as if there is in any other part of the country, we should all feel concerned. So it's good that we put our hands on deck to make sure that the terrorists don't occupy the center stage and that they truly don't operate in any country at all.
The National Human Rights Commission has vowed to implement its mandate by ensuring that human rights violations in the country are curbed. While the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Professor Bem Angwe, made the promise at the preliminary hearing on a petition filed by a former police commissioner in the Lagos State Command, Mr. Abubakar Sav. Professor Angwe asked Nigerians to expose all forms of human rights abuses so that Nigeria can be a better place to live in.
Some indigents of Benue State at the National Human Rights Commission in Abuja. They came to the commission because of a petition submitted by former police commissioner Mr. Abubakar Sav, who has accused some officials of Benue State government of extrajudicial killing. The executive secretary of the commission, Professor Bem Angwe, who addressed the petitioner and the alleged human rights violators, promised that the commission will thoroughly investigate the petition.
The former commissioner of police, Abubakar Sav, petitioned this commission that there are alleged extrajudicial killings taking place in Benue State by members of the Nigerian police force in connivance with some politicians and some other members of the society there in Benue State.
Mr. Sav alleged that the Benue State Police, with the connivance of the medical officer in charge of Boko General Hospital and the management of the state's Hospital Management Board, are involved in extrajudicial killing.
There was one man in Boko who was killing people at will, and nothing was happening to him. So initially I reported to the Commissioner of Police in 2012. The man was arrested and charged to court, remanded prison custody, and very unceremoniously they left him, and the case is still in court.
Lawyer to the Benue State government, however, rejected the allegation by Mr. Sav, saying some of the corpses referred to in his petition are accident victims whose bodies have been left unclaimed for several months.
He says there are over 50 corpses in the Boko General Hospital, which the hospital intends to do some mass burial. And he claims that some of these corpses, or all of them, were extrajudicial killings.
Mr. Sav, in his petition, dragged the Benue State Police Commissioner, medical officer in charge of Boko General Hospital, the executive secretary of the state's Hospital Management Board, and the state commissioner for health before the commission for allegedly colluding with the police to give mass burial to some indigents of the state.
Now, it's a sad day for the government of Kwara State as the aide-de-camp to the Deputy Governor, Inspector Gaya Mark, was killed in an attempt to arrest a commercial motorcyclist who allegedly obstructed the Deputy Governor's convoy. But according to the Chief Press Secretary to the Deputy Governor, Inspector Mark died from health complications, contrary to the rumor that the motorcyclist knocked him down. However, the police public relations officer of the Kwara Command, Mr. Okechumi Ajayi, said that there was no scuffle between the ADC and the motorcyclist.
What happened was that it's like the Okada rider went through the wrong way and he was like trying to, but in the course of running after the Okada man, he slumped and died. And as of now, the result of the postmortem is not yet out to ascertain the cause of death. But the guy died. The guy as a result of any, there was not as a result of any physical with any Okada man or whatever. He just slumped and died. As far as we are concerned, it was just an incident that happened. He just died as a result of maybe until we get the detail probably from the medical before we can say this is the cause of, but it was not a result of any physical or clearing of road or anything for the government.
In part 2, after the break, Lagos government blames the federal authorities for poor transportation system in Nigeria. That's an our big story. Do join us again.
Polo, the reward of success.